Tell me about the combatives program they just started.
Gracies have been, they analyzed their fights from their family and other MMA fights and found that as a whole, there's 36 elements to a fight or moves that they teach that they combined into a 23 class session. The idea is to have the person learn how to fight an unskilled opponent on the street and defend themselves before fighting the skilled opponent. The combatives programs starts always from the standing position, which is slightly different than a lot of other styles of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. A lot of the older Gracie videos always started on the ground. They didn't really focus on the standing. It's a very interesting new way of rolling it out. The idea is more of a street combat readiness. There's a lot more throwing on gloves with mouth guards, finding out where weaknesses are, and taking somebody down under pressure so that they're experiencing getting hit like they would in a street fight. So it's a new program, and I'm still learning it. I know the elements of it, but how they want it taught is very specific. They expect anybody to be certified to go to California for a 10-day seminar on how to just teach the combatives program. So.
All right. So when you go down to Indiana, what's it like? What's the training like?
Chet and his gym, he started out in basically a basement and has worked himself up to, he built his own academy. He's got a very nice school. He primarily has about 15 people at every class that I've been to, ranging from anything from the very beginning white belt all the way up to a 4-stripe brown belt. He starts off with the combatives class, which is usually 20 minutes of review. You review with any of your students, and Chet's there to, if you have any questions or can't do a move, he can be there to instruct you. And then the remaining 40 minutes is learning the new combatives technique of that, for that day. The idea is that you go through every combatives program twice before you can start trying to go to the advanced level classes. He then does an advanced level class after the combatives that will focus on anything from questions that the students have to new techniques that he learns from the Gracies when he goes out to their visits. He structures his class, and anyone that would like to go down there, he is very open. If you have any questions, I took 3 of my students down before their first fight, and he structured his entire 3-hour class on a Saturday around fighting on a rail. He's a very calm, collected person. He's very traditional Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. He uses very basic moves, but the basics can overcome any of the advanced moves that are happening today, as you see some of the UFC fighters using the rubber guard and the X guard and the De La Hoya guard, or De La Hiva guard rather. Any of those can be overcome with just basic grappling, and I equate it to like an epiphany when he teaches you how to avoid a move, because it's just so simple. Everything is very simple and puristic from the Gracies.
And when you teach, you were telling me about your teaching style. You try to structure it after your teachers. Tell us a little about that.
Because Chet has been teaching for 14 years, and he was actually offered a position at the Gracie Academy if he wanted to move to California, I don't find it necessary to try to improve on his skills, being that I'm not as good as he is. So I try to emulate exactly what he does in my teaching style. When I teach, there's elements that I use directly to attract attention to certain areas, details. I try to, when I go down there, I ask him the most basic techniques, not because I don't know them, but because I want to see how he teaches them, so I can learn better to teach my students.
Cool. And what's your goal ultimately with all of this?
Eventually I'd like to open my own school. I'd like to have my purple belt. I should have it hopefully within a month and a half at the next seminar that he teaches. And I would eventually like to get my black belt through the Gracies and open my own school somewhere. So,
getting your black belt through the Gracies is kind of a big achievement. Talk a little bit about that and how selective they are.
They're extremely difficult to get a black belt through them because they don't want people to get a black belt and start having their own students start schools and just water down the art. They would like to keep it as pure as possible because it's very specific in how you position your body and how you position your opponent's body in order to overcome leverage and strength. So as a result of that, they usually take anywhere from, at training at the academy 3 days a week, anywhere from 5 to 8 years, depending on the aptitude of the person training. Training remotely, it can take much longer than that. The Gracies do that in order to make sure that the way that they teach at the academy is exactly the same as at any of their certified training centers. So getting a black belt through them is an extreme accomplishment. There's not that many out there, and because of that, when you see a Gracie Academy black belt, you know that they are extremely legit.
Cool. Thank you.